Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful morning here in Southern California. I'm coming to you from Surfside, California, where there's a little more breeze than normal here in the morning. We'll cover that. We'll talk about the San Diego bite, the great fishing at San Clemente Island, and I've got a lot more, including a brand new boat that's going to be running out of Puerto Vallarta. A friend of mine just purchased it, and they're going to focus on those giant yellowfin tuna. I've got that and so much more this morning on the Morning Briefing. Good morning, everybody. Hey, I truly hope you're having a great morning. It's really good to be with you. Always nice to spend my morning cup of coffee with each and every one of you, and I appreciate you spending time with me here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. We continue to grow almost to 1 million views now. We're going to have a big celebration when that hits. What we'll do, not quite sure yet, but we'll do something fun, and once again, I owe that all to you. Thanks again for everything. Got a lot to cover with you here today. Some really good fishing going on, some wind in the forecast and actually taking place right now. I'll talk to you about all that. But first, prayers, good thoughts, good vibes. Please keep sending them to Captain Eddie Leland. I was with Eddie yesterday. He was in good spirits and he's doing better, but he still is in this battle with cancer and needs your thoughts and prayers. He needs to know that you're all behind him. It means a lot to Eddie and his family, and I deeply appreciate it if you're able to do that. All right, and many of you know, when I was taking a walk here on the beach, I don't know, I guess it's been a couple of weeks ago, I came across a body that had washed ashore, deceased male, and his name was Mustafa Osama Jamil. It really got real for me last night because I was out at sea for a couple of days and hadn't been able to respond to all my YouTube comments. And as I was responding to them, I came across one and it made this whole thing so real to me. Omnia Saleh from Egypt. That was, of course, Mustafa's sister-in-law. And she thanked me for giving them some closure, asked for prayers for him, and that's when it became really real for me, when you see the connection. Obviously, I knew that he had family and loved ones, but when you actually get a comment from someone in Egypt, it really brought it home to me. So we continue our prayers for Mustafa and his family and loved ones, for sure. All right, let me tell you that I'm supposed to be on the Relentless right now. We're supposed to be out catching fish, but the captain of the Relentless said, I should say it right, Relentless. Why can't I say that? He said, let's take this one off. I don't like the wind. It is far too windy right now. We haven't been able to find that yellowfin tuna. So he's looking out for all of us, and you got to admire that in a captain for sure. Yesterday, however, there was still some good Dorado fishing going on down there out of San Diego, and then there were boats that found that windy weather and weren't able to really participate in some of those catches. The Mission Bell, I talked to Scott Buchert, and he was on there yesterday as a deckhand, and he said, man, it was rough and snotty, a pain in the neck. They had 2 days straight of limits of Dorado on board the Mission Bell, and then they ran into that weather. They hooked 5, lost all 5, ended up with a goose egg. That happens from time to time. And remember, the 2 previous days, Captain Sean Hardigan with limits of Dorado. The Mission Bell is a fine boat, and they do a great job. But yesterday they ran into some of that weather. However, the San Diego 35 guys had 68 Dorado, 5 yellowfin tuna, and another black skipjack. 2 days in a row they've had those critters. The Grande with limits of Dorado 2 days in a row. Daiwa Pacific, limits of Dorado. Old Glory, limits of flatheads. So there is still some really good Dorado fishing. And once this weather passes through, I think the prospects are bright for San Diego jumping on board the Mission Belle or one of those boats that leave in the morning, or getting on an overnight trip or a day and a half trip like we will have again. The Relentless trip has been rescheduled to October the 29th. That's leaving on a Saturday night and returning on a Monday morning. Of course, all the people who are booked on there has first dibs, and most have come back, but there are a couple of spots available. If you'd like info on that, 657-227-6459. Just send me a text. I'll get you signed up on that. So there has been some really steady Dorado fishing going on. Most of it south of the border, and it's hanging in there. And I'm hoping that it hangs in this wind and weather. It's just not like fall, by the way. I mean, our falls are normally no wind and just flat calm. So, why should the weather be any different than the fishing? It's been so abnormally great fishing. I guess the weather can be abnormal also. So once again, we'll continue to watch it down there very, very closely. Tackle-wise, you definitely want to have some 25-pound fluorocarbon with you and up to 40-pound, even bigger than that, in case you run into some bluefin tuna. We like www.optionusa.com. Put in FA at checkout for a note from Greg and also a free gift. So make sure that you are going with fluoro. 2.0 size hooks have been just about right here recently. Those have been the preferred size. Now, I also like to see you with some 20-pound and some small hooks, even down to a number 4 size hook, in case you encounter one of those kelps that's not as wide open as the kelps that we've been seeing here recently. You have the light stuff. And also something with chrome in it. Even though the yellowfin tuna counts have gone like this, I get the feeling that YFT is there, but the boys just need to get on it again, or they're just fishing that Dorado zone because it's been such a consistent bite that they're able to get limits on that and then maybe wander off and find some yellowfin. But a jig with some chrome in it, Daiwa Sakanas have been working really well. A good idea indeed. So not bad at all. We'll see what the weather holds for today and how that all rolls out. I just looked at the weather, and it's up to around 15 with gusts to 20, and that makes finding kelps pretty darn tough and definitely uncomfortable. So hopefully the boys down there that did run will catch some fish, and when we get back on the Relentless on October 29th, looking forward to a great trip. Hopefully that will come to pass. There's a little bit of bluefin also mixed in with the counts down there in San Diego. A lot of it is that, I want to say 12 to 25 pound, but still there are some bigger fish. No question about that. Now, that fish out there near San Clemente Island, talking bluefin tuna, boys are putting up with some really rough weather up there in that neck of the woods, also windy, but some of the long-range boats still getting in on it. It's a lot spottier than it once was. Hopefully it'll get back into gear. If you are on a trip, though, you're going to want to have some jigs up to 500 grams in this windier weather, so make sure you do bring that. Most of the time, 200 to 500 is going to work just fine, and you want heavy tackle on these fish. There's a lot of that 50-pound stuff, but we continue to see fish over 200 pounds, so there are still some big fish. My good friend, Ricky Carbajal. I mean, I love Ricky, okay? I mean, my kids were young when we were out of Marina del Rey with Ricky catching Dorado and yellowfin tuna back in an El Nino event in the 80s. We had so much fun with Ricky, but Ricky has just made a purchase of a boat that he plans to operate out of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, focusing in on those giant yellowfin tuna, and I am so happy for him. It's going to be great. And Jay Cruz, many of you know him. He's got a ton of experience in that neck of the woods, knows how to fish it, knows how to catch those big fish. Jay Cruz is going to run the boat, and it is going to be really something. You're taking a look at some photos of the newly purchased vessel, but it's not going to look anything like that when they get through with it. They're going to have a new sonar, a new galley, they're putting air conditioning in, and of course, bigger bay tanks. If anybody is going to focus on fishing and comfort and great meals, Ricky Carbajal is your guy. Jay Cruz is going to do a great job. I honestly can't wait to get down there and give that a try. You know how much I love to go to Mexico. I love to fish down there. It's going to be really, really something. And they're looking for a new name of the boat, preferably in Espanol, a Spanish name, but a new name for the boat. And if an English name happens to grab whoever it is that's going to make the choice, that's even better. Ricky promises a bunch of swag, sweatshirts and hats and all kinds of stuff for the guy that gives this vessel its new name. Put a comment on our YouTube channel. That's all you got to do. Put a comment up there on our YouTube channel, and if you pick the name that floats everybody's boat, you'll get a whole bunch of swag, and Ricky will come through for you. By the way, they're planning on starting in Puerto Vallarta in February-ish, depending upon how all the remodeling and remake of the boat goes. So if you'd like to get on a list with Ricky, I highly recommend you give him a call. You can call him at 801-913-9619. Give Ricky Carbajal a call. Can't wait to get down there and fish that new rig out of Puerto Vallarta with Jay Cruz. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's talk offshore here in the LA Orange County area, and we got to talk about Dorado, or lack of. Man, I said it not too long ago. One day we're going to wake up and this historic season will be gone. Is it gone? Is a rhetorical question. And the answer is, I don't know. You know, I mean, we do have some wind, and it's been moving water temperature edges around and pushing this Dorado around. I know it's been very poor for several days now looking for that Dorado. So we'll just have to wait and see. When we get back to some glass calm, beautiful seas, some warm weather, which we do have, but some solar warming, we need those flat calm seas. Maybe we'll find some more. I don't think it's quite gone yet. I'm not sure we're going to go back to the incredible catches that we made earlier on this year, but we still might have some fish around, and who knows? We were talking about the yellowfin tuna moving up here. It's all water temperature dependent. The yellowfin need warmer water, that is for sure. So very poor fishing for Dorado for the LA Orange County based boats right now. It's all south of the border, and it's pretty darn good. However, guys are still looking, and it's all been the Dorado they've been catching. Most of it has been on the lighter line. So some 20-pound fluoro with number 4 size hooks. Bring your heavier stuff also. The Pursuit the other day at a 22nd Street landing had a whack on the tuna also, so you definitely want to have that along with it. Make sure that you vary your tackle. And those Daiwa Sacanas, you roll up on a foamer, and there's still foamers of bluefin and some yellowfin around here. You'll want to toss that in. Don't fish the iron with anything less than 40 pound. That will get it done for you. Islands, Todos Santos Island, Pongueros. Hey, I miss those guys. Well, hey, I can't do that to my hermanos down there. They're offshore trying to fish, but it's windy down there for ponga fishing. A little too windy right now. So most of those guys are laying in or fishing the Coronado Islands, where they're picking off a few yellowtail. There's a little bit of barracuda, calico bass, you know, usual kind of thing. At Coronado Islands, there's still yellows there also. You can get on a sport boat 10 to 40 yellows in a day there at the Coronado Islands. What the heck is wrong with that kind of a score? Nada. It's good. It's a fly line bait, kind of a bite for the most part, 20 to 25 pound fluoro, 2.0 size hook, and choosing a really good hot bait and some surface iron fish. San Clemente Island has been really good here recently. The Thunderbird and the Freedom, just a couple of boats that got on it. The Amigo had 50 fish there one day. Nice grade to it, you know, like 15 to 25 pound fish, and it has been biting really, really well. Scott Grant, who's a Friedman Adventures family member. I love Scott. And he was on board the Thunderbird, and he said, Phil, if you do a charter on the Thunderbird, I'm in. I'm all over it. I mean, what a boat, what a crew. Jeff Markland's great, so I have to talk to Jeff about that. Got way too many people pushing me to do that, and I would love to fish on the Thunderbird. He was out there and said he had some really fun times. Now, he fly lined the bait with 20 pound and got bit right away. He said he wished he would have fished 25 pound. He had a 1.0 hook fishing fluorocarbon, fly line bait. Yeah, he said it was great fishing indeed. He does recommend, however, you go to the 25 pound with a 1.0 hook. Choosing a good hot bait makes all the difference in the world. There are some pre-dawn fish. So if you get up early and you want to catch a yellow, and who doesn't, you beat everybody to the rail, you want to definitely go with, of course, a dropper loop. There were some fish taken in just that way. And of course, the sea lions are still crazy over there. You got to wrestle them away from those, but still really good fishing. In fact, Scott said the sea lions were eating the flyers, jumping around eating flying fish out there. So those voracious little devils still have their appetite. 92 yellows on the Freedom, same kind of thing, mostly fly line. Tino Valentine said it was absolutely fantastic fishing. Now, boats that were fishing Dorado and now dropping into Catalina Island are back to an island that has been pretty picky all year long, and it's remaining that way. a little bit of bass, maybe a yellow here and there, a little bit of barracuda, some bottom fish. Catalina's been inconsistent. Well, actually, it's been consistently kind of lame this year, and it's remaining that way. It's beautiful over there. I mean, I'm talking all about the fishing. It's still a great time to take the family and do some fishing, but if you're looking to put big numbers on the boat, those days are few and far between. Up there in the Channel Islands, they got a bunch of weather on their hands. It's windy up there today, but they are able to, most days, put together excellent rockfish days, occasional flurry of the white sea bass, and some decent halibut catches up there in that neck of the woods also. So some pretty good fishing when this wind finally gets out of the picture. What's the deal? Anybody tell the weather gods that fall is our best weather months? We're not supposed to have this kind of breeze, but we do have it indeed. Along the coast, pretty slow for the most part, but we've had a couple of big yellows and some flurries of it going on in San Diego, down there out of C4 Sport Fishing, also Dana Wharf and Redondo, boats like out of there fishing locally. I've been catching a few calico bass, Marina del Rey, a few bass up there, also twilight fish, and then rockfish and sculpin up and down the coast, moving you up into the Channel Islands, also rockfish up there out of Ventura Sport Fishing and surrounding areas, and quite a bit of corvina right behind me. They're waiting for me right now. They're saying, come on, man, throw me a nice big ghost shrimp or a nice sandworm or a sand crab on that light line. Yeah, there's been some good corvina fishing here into our fall months, and also a few yellowfin croaker on that chrome crocodile, 3/4 ounce. Toss it out behind a wave, wind it, and get a bite. There's nothing like it. A few halibut also in the surf here. All right, folks, so there you have it. It's a beautiful morning. I know it's breezy in some areas, and I wish I were on the Relentless fishing right now, but I think the captain made a good decision. We'll find out here in the next 24 hours. He made a good decision no matter what. He's thinking of his passengers, not his pocketbook, and I admire that for sure. Weather hopefully will come down here pretty soon. We need that to happen. Boys in San Diego, probably the best fishing going on right now south of the border. Consistent, excellent catches of Dorado for many. Many boats missed because of that weather also, but many boats had limits of Dorado 2 fish per rod, and we're hoping to find yellowfin tuna and even more exciting stuff in our future. Hey, thanks again for joining us here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Give us a like, please. It means a lot to me. If you could just take your time and hit that like button, it really helps us a lot. And don't forget, give us a name for the new boat running out of Puerto Vallarta. My good friend Ricky Carbajal is going to put on one operation, one heck of an operation down there. You're definitely going to want to take advantage of that. I know I will be doing that. All right, thoughts and prayers with Eddie, thoughts and prayers with Mustafa, and all my very best to you. I hope to see you really, really soon.